I'm going to ask that if you have questions, we will make some stops along the way through this presentation to ask, but also if you could raise your hand or drop them in the chat function. We have a couple other monitors who can answer them in real time, so we don't have to delay. The goal today is to get through what co-selling in this Microsoft fiscal year looks like for you, our partners, and then we'll go ahead and take it away. So one thing I want to make sure that we all understand is co-selling with Microsoft is your path to be discovered, deliver your expertise, and expand your customer footprint. It also means that in this fiscal, we have changed the definition a little bit, and co-selling is no longer just for our Microsoft selling channel, but it is any collaborative engagement between Microsoft and our partner ecosystem, and that can be between Microsoft via one of our storefronts. It can be with another partner in a P2P motion, or it can in fact be with one of our Microsoft sellers. So I just wanted to sort of land there and make sure that when we're talking about co-sell now, that is how we're discussing it across those three channels. And we will get into that more in a little bit, but just to start where we are. So every partner can now co-sell today. And so none of this has particularly changed from last year, but just to reiterate, we want to build those solutions and applications across Microsoft's three solution areas here, which are business application, apps and infra, data and AI, and then modern work and security. So think about that as Dynamics, Azure, and then Microsoft 365 and Teams. Again, just to level set everyone, you can, of course, with co-sell, the things that you can sell are Microsoft solutions, your services offers, IP offers, or you can also sell another partner's solution. So let's talk about what's possible. So there is an estimated, according to the IDC, a $7.1 trillion expected digital investment from customers or potential customers as we approach 2023. And so that is a massive, obviously, pie to go after, if you will. And as they digitally transform, the way that we can work together is through tailored solutions, meaning that the more specific and discrete your solution is to solve that customer's problem, the more value they're going to see in what you're bringing to them. Obviously, customer trust. So you guys, we are leveraging your trust and you're leveraging our trust as well. So going in there together to make sure the customer understands that they're going to have a top quality solution and also the support that goes with it. We have additional audiences. So one thing that we're really trying to focus on is that right now, between you and between us, we have a lot of customer accounts, but we do have the opportunity to talk to additional people within those accounts to deliver solutions that solve their problems. And then obviously the customer value. So with your innovation, we are able to combine that with our brand for a really rich value proposition into the customer. And so that is really what we are trying to accomplish when we talk about co-selling with our partners today. Let's talk about how we've been doing. So by the numbers, we've had, just with the seller channel, we've had $15.6 billion in annual revenue. We've seen a 51% growth in IP co-sell wins, and we'll talk about what the requirements are for those incentive eligible solutions in a little bit. We've also seen 3.5 times faster deal velocity when we're co-selling in Partner Center. And when we talk about co-selling in Partner Center, what we really mean is sharing deals, accepting deals, and that data transfer of information when we're trying to joint sell with customers. And then also on our direct web storefront, so think about these as Azure Marketplace and AppSource, we have 4 million active monthly users that come to visit your solutions. So talking about these three channels, so there are 3 channels to co-sell with Microsoft in this new motion or expanded motion. And again, we have the direct customer. So just to reiterate, it's the 4 million monthly active users that come to Azure Marketplace or AppSource. And in the publishing experience, one thing to flag here is that when you're publishing into the commercial marketplace, you will, the publishing experience helps direct you to which storefront is appropriate for your solution. So you can take that tax off of your shoulders.
Just calling to get some information about sending a...
Oh, could someone please mute themselves? Thank you. And then additionally, those stores are in 140 countries around the world. So really a massive global footprint for you to reach customers. Then we have our partners. So you guys, our powerful partner ecosystem with your innovation and how you guys can jointly sell together. Through sort of our tools and mechanics. And then we have our Microsoft seller channel. So we have thousands of sellers that can facilitate engagements. And we'll talk a little bit more about some criteria there. I wanted to pause here and see if there were any other questions or any questions. Megan, Brian, or Bakiko, I saw you guys were on.
Yeah, Kate, we've got a question on the chat around the any data, if we have any data on the conversion rate for Marketplace.
Brian, do you have that data
I can
point?
speak to that. And it's a great question, and the very short answer is that the conversion rate actually varies pretty significantly based on offer type and industry. So we don't have data that I can share offhand right now. It's something that is a great question, comes up relatively frequently, and the team is working on capturing the right data to be able to share specifically around conversion rates and leads. We do have some data around customer engagement. But the reason that it's not as simple to answer as we would like is that there are a whole bunch of different offer types, everything from a listing where the call to action is for having the customer contact you, to fully transactable offers that include a free trial. And we actually do see a pretty significant difference in engagement and conversion based on the offer type, as well as really kind of the product type. So, I don't want it to sound dismal. We actually do see much higher conversion rates when the offer is transactable and the customer can go in and have their own experience and just run all the way through it. But we see tremendous leads around the contact me listings as well. So a little bit of a non-answer other than to say there are best practices that we can share, and we are looking at how to capture the data in the most effective way.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions that seem ripe to answer at this time? Okay, I'll keep going. So let's talk about how we sort of start to engage in these channels. So the place where you start is publishing. And what you need to do is publish your app and your business profile. And so your application or your solution gets basically surfaced into Azure Marketplace or AppSource, and then your business profile also gets surfaced into the solution provider. So these are a little bit of apple and oranges, the way that customers are finding you. So in our direct web storefront, so Azure Marketplace and AppSource, they are actually clicking and engaging in the ways that Brian just spoke about on your actual solution. And then in the solution provider, they are engaging at your organizational level. And those are contact me listings. Then we have the partner-to-partner engagement. So this is something that we are facilitating within our new experience in Partner Center more efficiently. So in Partner Sales Connect today, if you are co-selling in that tool, you can invite another partner. You can sell another partner's solution, and in Partner Center, you can do that as well as invite another partner to co-sell. So what that means is that you can engage and then jointly sell together. Then you have seller engaged co-sell. So this is sort of what we would have described co-sell as prior to this year. Just to give you guys a bit more clarity into the workflow. Obviously a lead is identified. So a customer is telling us they need something, and that can come from either you as one of our partners, or it can come from Microsoft. We also then hope that the lead is qualified and then shared, and you share that through our tooling. And then the lead is accepted, hopefully. And one thing that's important to note is both you as well as our Microsoft sellers have the same SLA to accept these leads, and that is 14 days. That being said, a best practice would definitely be to accept these sooner, because as you can imagine, as customers to some companies yourself, if someone doesn't call you for 14 days, you might have solved your own problem or purchased something else. Then we hope that you guys work together to close the deal. And then the contract is signed. And at this point, when you sign the contract, if you are if you are selling an incentive eligible solution, you would then register the deal. If it is a transactable offer, it can then be transacted in commercial marketplace. So that's definitely an easier way. It's more efficient and has less friction in that way. So let's talk about the criteria, and I do want to spend a couple minutes here, and hopefully we can answer all the questions because I want to make sure this is clear to you. So when we talk about co-sell ready solutions, what we're talking about is effectively any solution that has been published into the commercial marketplace, or if you are still publishing your solutions into OCP GTM. So to reach the direct customer channel, we want you to meet the commercial marketplace publishing requirements. It's pretty straightforward. You go through the process and then complete your business profile. Then if you want to engage the other channels, so that would be partner engaged or Microsoft seller engaged, we do ask that you have sales contacts for each geography that you want to sell that into, as well as you upload some bill of materials that are required. And these are a little bit different than last year, so I'm going to spend a bit of time on them. So a solution one-pager. A solution one-pager, think about this as the replacement to the customer one-pager. And what that means is that it should really be the pitch around your solution. And it can include customer evidence. That's a great thing as a best practice that you would want to include, as well as the solution pitch deck. So think about it as those things should complement each other. Then there's also some optional things that you can put in the solution landing page. So you can pull this URL right down from the direct customer channel if it's listed in Azure Marketplace as an example. Social media channel, if for some reason it has a Twitter handle or something like that. And then anything else, case studies. So there's a little bit of an opportunity here for you guys to include things that maybe is a best practice that has been working for your company here. And that information will go then to our sellers and then can be included as information to our other partners. Then an additional thing, if it is a service offer, is a gold competency in that class. So think about this as a cloud competency or something of that nature. Any questions around that? Okay. Then let's talk about incentive eligible. So we have Azure IP. So the criteria here is at your organizational level, you need to meet or exceed the 100K ACR trailing 12 months threshold. And it can be a combination of solutions, or it needs to be a transactable offer in commercial marketplace, billed with a revenue threshold of 100K. Additionally, it needs to pass the Microsoft technical validation process. And the good news is that when you're publishing into the commercial marketplace, this requirement is met automatically. It's significantly easier, and it must have greater than 50% repeatable code for that. Additionally, if it's a BizApps offer, so think about this as Dynamics, you need to have active enrollment in the ISV Connect program. And if you're in the standard tier, the incentive, and this is an incentive to be clear for the Microsoft seller, is 10%. And for the premium tier, it is 20%.
Oh, shit.
Just caution everyone to mute themselves. Any questions around these?
Could you explain what the benefits are for the IP incentive eligible, what that means?
Yes.
Because I know you have something where the transaction fees are reduced from 20% to 10%, and CSPs are eligible to get percentage as well. Is that only for Azure IP incentive eligible?
Brian, do you want to speak to the transactable benefits?
Yeah. And Ari, I think you're right in your description there. There are, I mean, in addition to the benefits of the co-sell program a little bit more generally, where Microsoft sellers have incentives to help land your solutions, specific to the commercial marketplace where customers maybe come directly to engage with your offer. There are three particular things that light up with the IP co-sell status. The first is that the commercial marketplace, so Azure Marketplace and Microsoft App Stores, operate on an agency model. Long story short, the default transaction fee is 20%. With an IP co-sell eligible solution, or a Teams app, or a Office 365 add-in that integrates with 2 or more Office services, that 20% is reduced to 10%, which is very competitive compared to other cloud marketplaces. If you look at kind of across the industry, if the solution is resold by a CSP partner, that 10% does not go to Microsoft. It goes to that reseller, to that CSP partner, either the direct bill or the indirect provider. Specific to IP Co-sell, so excluding now the Teams apps and Office add-ins, with IP Co-sell status, customers can draw down their Azure consumption commitment at 100% of the cost of your solution. So those are the 3 new benefits. Those were announced at Microsoft Inspired last month. In addition, any IP Co-sell eligible solution does get a Microsoft Preferred solution badge on the storefront as well.
I mean, that's music to my ears. How do I get my transactable offering to receive that benefit, since we qualify for, for the Office side that you mentioned?
Yeah. So
is it automatic, or is there do I have to manually apply for that? How does that happen?
It is generally automatic with the with IP Co-sell. On the Office side, I'll need to follow up. That one I'm a little bit less familiar with the operations of how it works.
Okay. So I'll work with you offline. Thank you.
Yep, perfect.
Thank you. So then just to emphasize a little bit around the transactable offer type. As Brian said, you do see more traction with transactable offers because the customer can just sort of take it and run with it at the pace that they want to go. But just to emphasize the benefits of this. So one, customers can engage directly, as we've stated. Additionally, your offer is added to the Microsoft price list that gets global distribution, and you can go ahead and leverage the existing procurement relationships and consumption commitments, as Brian just spoke about. 2, the customer can take it and run. It's easy. It speeds up the purchasing process and deployable. They can try and buy with confidence. And then obviously for our sellers, if you are engaging in the seller channel, it accelerates with that accelerates their quota retirement with incentive third-party software, and then there's just an ease and a reduction of the administrative tax in the sales cycle as you go through. So just something to consider as you think about publishing different offer types, the benefits of that transactable offer. So then let's talk about a few more Azure IP Co-sell benefits. So the reason why the IP incentive eligible offer is beneficial to both Microsoft as well as to you is that it promotes these solutions to our sellers and incentivizes them obviously to sell them. There are 2 valid scenarios with which the incentive is paid out to the Microsoft seller. So one, we have what's called active co-sell. So this is your traditional workflow, which means that you share something with the seller, Microsoft accepts it, and then you close the deal and you go about sort of the regular sales flow as you will. Then there's the other one, which is where you don't actually ask a Microsoft seller for help. And so what happens is you might receive a signal from the account team, and this would be sort of an informal way of lead sharing. Then you would go ahead and qualify that lead and then share it back with us. And then what you do, and this is pretty tactical, but something important to understand, is that you ask for no help when sharing it back with Microsoft because the deal has already been qualified and potentially won. And so that is considered partner-led. So that is a new scenario that can count as the incentive. This is just a little bit more visibility, and I do want to be conscientious of time for questions, into the deal validation process around those incentive eligible solutions. So obviously there's an opportunity age, there's timelines. Something that's really important to understand here is that the partner, you must register the deal within 30 days after the customer contract is signed. That deadline has not changed. And then there are contract parameters, and there are it's $25,000 US as a minimum, and then there's a minimum of the 2,100 marketplace build sale, which is something that they do in a single month. So a little bit different parameters there, but the timeline is exactly the same, just to be clear. And then we have partner reported ACR. So partner reported ACR is definitely something that we bring to life through our commercial marketplace with the MAC eligible partners. This allows you to, again, reduce the friction, expand your geo with solution tagging, so you get a little bit more flair, if you will, added to your listing, and then it increases your discoverability. And this, again, is access to, and Makiko, I don't know if you want to expand on this process workflow a little bit since you are on the call today, if you feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, so the marketplace thing, it's very simple. Partner reported ACR is an extension to IP Co-sell. So for the eligible partners who have a transactable offer published in the marketplace with the IP Co-sell ready tag, they're eligible. Those deals are eligible to have the IP drive the IP Co-sell win. Once it's done, and then we would like to ask our partners for the commitment to submit the partner customer level of consumption reporting on the SaaS solutions. And then if you agree to that condition, we'll get you going on to be on board of this program. And then what happens is when you submit the consumption at the customer level, Microsoft sellers will receive the credit. And then that will motivate the seller to get more parity to your SaaS solutions on the transactable offer.
Thank you, Makiko.
Yep.
And then just to reiterate, if you are a member of the ISV Connect program, the standard tier incentive is 10% and the premium tier is 20% as well. Again, the co-sell sales motion is similar to the regular co-sell motion, with the caveat that you do need to register the deal after the contract is signed, unless, of course, it is a transactable offer. And then I just want to speak briefly about empowering Co-sell and Partner Center this year. So many of you may have already received an invitation to sell within Partner Center, and some of you may have not. So just to reiterate, you will receive an invitation. The person who receives the invitation, or the people rather, are your global administrator within Partner Center, whoever is listed as that, the referral administrator, as well as the contacts listed within your solutions inside OCP GTM. So just to sort of flag that to you, that that is how you will receive your invitations to co-sell. And just to give you guys a little bit more information on why co-selling and Partner Center is better for you guys is, one, we already talked about the 3.5 times faster deal velocity, but again, you can manage all of these referrals within your own CRM instance, so you don't actually have to come in and out of Partner Center. You have a direct Microsoft seller connection, so this is how you identify what type of help you need from the seller, say proof of concept, or if you don't need any help at all, actually. Then on a really basic level, you receive all your referrals in one place. So as we merge the existing tools into them, you can get your direct customer as well as your partner-to-partner referrals here. And then we have better customer matching. So what we've done is we've aligned it to the Dun & Bradstreet matching identification for precision alignment, so we know what customer we're really working on. Also too there, if for some reason you're in a geography where there is not a DUNS ID number, you can do freeform, just to include that detail in case that brought a little panic to you. So best practices for co-sell. When you're publishing, define a clear value proposition. We can't emphasize this enough. What is the true benefit to the customer of your solution? Identify your target audience. So is this industry specific? Is it for a certain customer segmentation? We have found that if the solution is almost too general, it's almost harder to sell. Publish your co-sell ready materials. So those BOM materials, those are those are definitely something that we utilize, as well as keep them up to date. Include those relevant case studies. So if you have something where you can demonstrate the example, that always helps. And then balance your activity across the direct channel, P2P, and the Microsoft Seller Co-sell channel. So your key takeaways that we really want to make sure we're clear, your next steps, make sure you publish solutions or update your solutions or publish more solutions. Then we want you to actively manage your referrals and then create and share deals with Microsoft. Those are sort of the steps that we take away. There's also resources in here, and I'm going to go through the co-sell resources just a little bit quickly. So there is the partner site. Within the partner site, there is a playbook that you can download if you're authenticated into the page, which gives all of the requirements and best practices and steps. Think about it as a complement to what you just saw here today. There's also co-sell how-to documentation available in the co-sell experience gallery. And then if you are a digitally managed partner, meaning that you do not have a PDM, we also do have the Cloud Enablement Desk to help you on this journey. So with that, I'm sure that we are at time and I have not left enough time for questions, but I'm going to stop presenting. And are there any outstanding questions that we need to answer?
Kate, it might be helpful to share just with everybody the support paths if tickets have been raised and we're not getting the proper traction, the best way to do that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the great parts about moving all of your resources into Partner Center so you can manage your business is that we now have a single support path, and that is through WAC support. So there's no need to go to Partner Center help or PSC help or anything like that. It is through support. And so you or your PDM, you can access that WAC support on partner.microsoft.com, or you can actually hit the question mark inside Partner Center and it gets you to that same support path.
And then Chad is asking, once a deal is entered in the co-sell via Connect, how long should we have to wait to hear if it qualifies for co-sell?
Like a deal has been registered, is that the question?
Is co-sell ready is how I understand it.
So once your offer is co-sell ready, it is ready, the offer. If you are sharing a deal with that ready offer, there's a 14-day SLA for a partner or Microsoft to accept it. I think I answered your question. And we are at time, so I do want to be conscientious. Please, I've dropped in some of the information into the link in the chat. Please do access that information. It also, just to be clear, it does render in local languages for those of us who English is not our first language. And then stay tuned. We do this series monthly. It is always the first Wednesday of the month, and we do it at 8 a.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Pacific. So you can just continue to dial in and learn and ask questions as you need.
Thanks, Kate, and thanks everyone for participating in this call. There will be a rerun of the call at 4 p.m. Pacific time today, and the presentation and the recording of this call will be made available on the Microsoft Partner community. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.